Welcome to another inspiring episode of Baltic Boss Babes, the podcast where we celebrate the remarkable women reshaping industries across the Baltic region. Today, we sit down with Liga Busa-Lehtonena, a visionary leader and multifaceted entrepreneur who has redefined modern marketing, transformative coaching, and business innovation. From launching supermarket chains in Latvia to pioneering medical diagnostics and leading as CEO of Marketing Angels, Liga's career exemplifies resilience, creativity, and an unwavering commitment to personal and professional growth. In this episode, we explore Liga's journey through the peaks and valleys of leadership, the lessons learned from balancing a thriving career with family life, and her transformative philosophy of knowing when to pivot. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 6.
Hello. Welcome back to another empowering episode of Baltic Boss Babes, where we are celebrating the unstoppable women shaping the future of business in Baltics. Today, we are thrilled to introduce a trailblazer who's the epitome of modern leadership and transformative change, Liga Busa-Lehtonena. As the CEO and co-founder of Marketing Angels, Liga has spent over 20 years refining her expertise in strategic marketing, branding, and digital innovation, helping businesses across industries grow and thrive. Her recent venture as a transformative coach is where she truly shines, empowering leaders to overcome obstacles, embrace change, and reach their full potential. From navigating leadership development to mastering stress management, Liga's coaching is changing lives. But that's not all. Her entrepreneurial spirit has led her to co-own Tremo, where she brought innovative medical diagnostics to the Latvian market. With a diverse background, including roles at global giants like Sandoz and Mefa, Liga's career is a masterclass in how to break boundaries and build an impactful legacy. Tune in today as we dive deep into her journey, her passion for helping people and businesses succeed, and how she's leading the way for a new generations of Baltic Boss Babes. Hi, Liga. How are you today?
Hi, yes. Thank you for a nice introduction. I'm really good. How are you?
Also, I am so excited to have you here. We have had a great set of leaders up to today talking, and you are just another jewel to our brilliant collection of precious metals here at Baltic Boss Babes. So, I did a little bit of intro, but could you tell us a little bit about yourself and how did your journey lead you to where you are today? So basically like a couple of points of what are the things that made Liga the one that she is today?
Wow, there has been more than a couple. So just maybe briefly, I have graduated from Riga Stockholm School of Economics and later also got an MBA from Hanken School of Economics in Helsinki. And then, where really my career journey started to, let's say, speed up was actually in the beginning of 2000 when I joined Kesko Food and to launch 2 supermarket chains in Latvia. And at that time, I had an interesting career start because I was hired as sort of assistant or coordinator to help to launch supermarket chains, City Market and Supernetto in Latvia. But what really happens that already in my first months is my big boss got some private problems in family life, and due to which he had to step out for a while from job, which actually left me alone, like you say, in a cold water with very little experience with a big task.
That's some fire christening right there.
That was extreme fire christening. So actually I was like alone with virtually very limited experience launching from marketing point of view city market chains in Latvia. So I was there for 2.5 years where actually I grew very steeply to marketing management position. I launched 2 supermarket chains, 3 shopping centers. I built up marketing team, but it also meant that I was working nights virtually, even sometimes till 12 o'clock in the evening. I've worked also on weekends, and after 2.5 years, I was enormously tired, and I understood that this is simply not sustainable. Still, I was still very eager to grow. And even more eager I was to learn and to go internationally. So the next where I joined was actually a pharmaceutical company. I joined as a Baltics product manager. And there I got another steep learning curve because I'm actually not a pharmacist. I'm not a medical, but I needed to learn basis of pharmaceuticals, medical indications. And on the top of everything, I was not even 1 year in that company when our headquarters decided to expand to Ukraine, Belarus. And so I had a fantastic possibility to participate in a project where we launched a business in Ukraine. And just to give an indication that we started maybe with 100,000 turnover, and after 7 years when I left, it was 10 million.
Okay, that's impressive.
I always somehow managed to find those places with a huge growth, but that of course also requires a lot of resource from me. And it sounds like I was just growing and growing, and usually in those stories you are just waiting, when is the wall coming? When you are hitting the wall. And I think my first big bump I got when my first son was born, because I was imagining that, yes, I'm this fantastic career woman and I'm a leader and I can do anything and I will have this nice smiling baby and I will also be a great mother. And then comes this small baby who is just screaming nonstop day and night. And he's one of those babies which are usually, I tried to actually prepare myself. I tried to read all kinds of books and magazines. And so I didn't find any value in those books because everything was opposite in my life. I had a child who was just never sleeping, always crying.
Not by the textbook, easy, right?
No, that was really tough. So that was the first big bump. The second bump I think I got when we actually started, when my child was 1 year old. I was already full-time back and I was traveling, and we expanded our business to Kazakhstan. And which meant that I had to travel there and I had to be like a week away at a time. And for the first time when I traveled, and there's this one tiny baby at home, and I come back and he looks with his big and sad eyes at me and like, "Mommy, I didn't expect to see you anymore."
Oh my God.
So it was a little bit another wake up for me, like, really, can you do it? But that was still, I continued doing it because I really loved this international job and so. But then came another milestone, which was 2009, when actually global economy crashed and also local economy crashed. And which actually for my husband meant that he had to downsize his team from 150 to 30 people and downsize himself as well. And eventually he got actually invitation to join an international company in Germany. And at that time, my job was safe, but I felt that I have been also close to 7 years and somehow feel like there could be some change, a new country. We always wanted to live somewhere else and experience international community. And we actually decided to move to Germany.
Okay.
And the start was actually quite fine. I was quite quickly joining another pharmaceutical company, big international company, headquarters. And I was so excited. I thought, I'm from this small country, Latvia, and I'm in big Germany. I'm in big international company. Now I will learn so much and it will be so great. And I learned that, in fact, I'm not really learning much because it's not so much anymore about performance. It's about whom you know. It's about whom you have a lunch with. It's about how you write your emails and whom do you CC. It's about how you fine-tune your Excel and your PowerPoint, and not so much about performance anymore. And that was in a way, in a career-wise, it was my first big shock, because I understood that, okay, what am I doing now? Where have I got? I was climbing so high up. I'm actually, at that time, portfolio manager for Middle East and Africa, and working internationally. And I understood, look, where I am. Actually, what am I doing?
Yeah, there's no excitement over this anymore, right?
What's happening? Yeah, true. And also, I have to admit that the German environment as such was not exactly for me, because what I learned is that there is everything. There is security, there's social security, there's a big salary, streets are clean. And at the same time, this joy of life is totally absent. There might be people living in a neighborhood in a house worth 3 million, and they are more unhappy than ever in their life. And the environment was really tough, which actually for us led that we both felt a little bit unhappy in our jobs. We also felt a little bit unhappy with the environment, and which, as it usually happens, we turned against each other. So also my family experienced quite a crisis during this time. And after 3 years of life like this, one day I decided that, look, this is not going to work. This is going as bad as it could be. And then I made internal decisions that whatever happens, I'm moving back. I'm moving back to Latvia, and I don't care that I lose my job. I don't care that I lose my income, but I am moving. And usually when you wish something, you just need to take a glass of wine and sit under the stars and talk about it. Works for me, at least. And we discussed it also with my husband, and we discussed that actually life in Latvia is really good. We really enjoyed living in Latvia. What was maybe that time a bit of an issue was economy and kind of like general feeling, but the life is good there. And when we discussed like that, he immediately got a call for another job offer, and so we were able to move back actually as a family and overcome also our crisis. And when I came back to Latvia, I felt that I have exhausted myself in a corporate, that I felt like I have been climbing all the way up. I've seen what it is there, and I want to see something else. And I decided to go into entrepreneurship. And at that time, it coincided that I met two fantastic ladies, my colleagues from Kesko Food, with whom we together established a marketing outsourcing agency. And that's actually how Marketing Angels was born. At the moment, Marketing Angels is already 11 years. It's established company, established team, and successful, growing. But again, there was these 7 years in the middle. And after 7 years, you are again, starting something's missing. You again need to do something. And this is actually when we, with my partners, we established Tremo. So we participated in commercialization reactor program. And we found a great idea about medical device, machine, which was supposed to diagnose Parkinson's in a very early stage, which would have been a great addition actually to diagnostics. And doctors were happy, investors were happy, everybody was happy to hear it, and it looked like a success. But there was one big but. We established this business end of 2019, beginning of 2020,
Oh no.
which was exactly before COVID came, and 3 years of plus minus all the time lockdowns. So because we had our scientists in Russia, and they had to actually, we were expecting this test machine from them. With COVID, everything stopped. You couldn't access medical institutions. You couldn't do the tests. Actually, scientists themselves couldn't leave their houses. And at some point, it was really scary because as a business, as a commercialization like point of view, we got even to Latitude 59, top 5 finalists. And then just a day before I have to go on a stage and pitch to investors and hope to win a big prize, I learned that the test machine is not coming. And in fact, I start to have a doubt that machine is coming at all. So, and then I'm stepping on a stage with the hope that I don't win. And that's a terrible feeling, I can tell you. After that, still for half a year or a year, we still tried to get test machine and work on the scientific part. But I think what's very important is to know when to call quits. And I myself am not a quitter, but it's important to call it a day when you start to feel that this is not going any further. And I'm happy that we actually closed this business down after 2 years, because later on came a war, sanctions, restrictions, everything. And we are happy that actually we also knew when to end it. But yeah, this is life. And nevertheless, my wish for development was very important. That's why I decided to actually formalize what I've been doing for years. I have been manager, I have been leader, I have been mentoring people. I decided to formalize it and acquire transformative coaching certification. So, and nowadays I'm coaching people individually, also outside my organization, and so I'm doing sessions for other entrepreneurs, managers, leaders. And so that, there's when one thing starts to change, then other things start to change. And actually, nowadays I can say that I run 2 professions. I have 2 sons, and I also live in 2 countries because of my husband's change of job. I'm having a house now in Prague as well, so I have one home in Riga and one in Prague. So I'm again international. Never say never.
Look on, that's fabulous.
And here we are today with you.
Well, I hear such an amazing things throughout this journey. I mean, first of all, like a couple of learnings about when to call quits and when to understand when some changes are necessary. Like, I was wondering, like, throughout all this journey, what I have learned myself is that no change or turn of events are possible without, some other people influence at one point or another. So who are a couple of, like, can you name 1 or 2 people who are kind of influenced or inspired you to make these transitions? Or, you can say that it was always me, like I knew I'd like it this way. So how is it for you?
That's interesting how it has been in my life, because through all my life I have been having many mentors who have been influencing certain skills what I have acquired, or certain decisions what I have made. Those have been my previous bosses, actually, quite much. Actually, I'm really lucky to have a partner, husband, with whom I can discuss also business life and ask for solid advice. What do you think about this business? or so. He's in a way my partner, my husband, my mentor. But these big change points I have been having I was having mentors from outside, like, for example, yoga teachers or actually coaches. For example, just when I was considering, should I quit my corporate or should I come to Latvia or what should I do? I participated in international coaches Dieter Lange's seminars. And just with a couple of things, what he told me, and he didn't tell me what to do, but he asked me a couple of questions to think about. It was coming to me really clearly what I want or what are my values. So I have been myself also coached, and this has been quite valuable for me.
Oh, that's so amazing, to have somebody who is actually putting the right questions right in front of you. So yeah, definitely I can get behind that. Like you mentioned, giving birth to two sons and, being a top businesswoman. And, I can suppose that there will be a lot of women who listen to this and they can relate, like raising a child and still being on top of their game professionally. Like, what can you say about different kind of stereotypes that you came across too, and how did you manage to break them or bend them or somehow change so that people actually would take you a little bit, I don't know, seriously or differently from where they kind of had put you at the first sight of, like, here comes Liga, this marketing guru, and then, oh yeah, but she has a child or she just gave birth and like, how is she going to do the job right now? So how did you manage that?
That's an interesting question. What is interesting is that in Baltics, I never really felt that because I think Baltics actually worldwide stands out with amount of women in leadership positions. And we are really developed compared to, we have fantastic women who obviously can do everything, including, I just read that soon they are asking women to join the army and protect the country as well. But yeah, women can do everything. But where I faced a bit of a judgment was in Germany, because when I joined a big international company as a product portfolio manager, and I had, that time my oldest son was 3 years old. And it was a huge company with maybe 2,000 people working just in headquarters. And my immediate circle was 100, maybe people. Out of those 100, I knew only 2 women. And they were not in top leadership, who kind of had small children. And that's an indication. It's like, including me, that's like 3%. That's very little. And I very often, I actually listen to questions. You have a small son. What you are doing here? Actually, you should be at home cooking, and cleaning. And in Germany, that was actually quite. The whole system was against young mothers going back to work because nannies were expensive, kindergartens were closing early. So everything was against it. But what can I suggest? That don't listen what others say. Do what you want to do. And that's how you go ahead. And I just followed my passion. I wanted to work. I wanted to be international. And that's why I moved on. And I just simply didn't listen to what others say.
I can imagine. It must have taken a couple of uncomfortable conversations to actually get to establishing your position as a leader and a mom at a company, right? So maybe you can remember, some uncomfortable conversation you had with either a superior colleague or fellow colleague or somebody at the company or, basically wherever. If you can remember this kind of uncomfortable conversation, not only regarding this topic, but any. And can you tell us how did you manage the situation? Like, what was the thing that actually got you through these uncomfortable conversations?
It's an interesting question. What comes to my mind was actually because I think I was not directly confronted in a corporate world. But what happened when I came back And when I became entrepreneur, and at that time, I was actually developing several ideas and looking which one will fly. And with one of ideas at a time, I went actually to investors event, local investors event. And there was like me, and there was some 10 other entrepreneurs presenting, pitching their ideas and asking for money, obviously. And investors were just men. And I was a little bit, I was a little bit laughing. It looked like millionaires' kindergarten, that people are bored and they come to see, what we could have here. And so, and it was obviously a very specific place where I managed to get. But nevertheless, I felt that I was almost like a little bit laughed and asked questions which were kind of like downgrading, like me on a stage. Because I felt like I'm a little girl, with those adult men asking them money, and not presenting a business idea, as a solid investment. But so I also felt that most of other entrepreneurs feel. And then when these pitches were ending, all the men were rushing to just one entrepreneur who was presenting some electric vehicle. So because it was interesting, it was a car. You can play with a car. And I really felt very uncomfortable. And especially I was like on a stage, so presenting the idea. And what I did that time, of course, you cannot take it personal. Because if you start to get offended, you take it personal, you start to cry, then you cannot survive. The only thing you can do is keep your head straight. So your backbone straight, be structured, be professional, answer with a smile, looking them straight into the eyes, and definitely by no means get down to that level. By no means go down. Keep your level and ask others to come up.
Oh, that is a solid advice right there, ladies. Please listen to this. Yeah, so what is the most unconventional thing you have ever done and why?
Actually, I have done a lot of unconventional things, both in my jobs, also for my customers in marketing. And it's actually very few people who want to do unconventional things because that's scary, that's new, that's risky. But my advice is like, do unconventional things, be brave, and life will reward you. And like biggest unconventional thing was even quitting the corporate, really very well paying job, quitting it, giving the money away, changing to entrepreneurship. Like many people thought that I'm crazy.
Right. Leaving the secure big job to something that is, like everyone who has been in entrepreneurial journey knows that is the most unstable thing that you can ever do is, to start your own business. And even if it's based on technology, that's even worse, right? So that is crazy.
That is true. And I think it's especially locally in Baltics, entrepreneurship is very much driven based on entrepreneurs' own will, and energy. And I admire those people who are able to survive and go further. Yeah, I think in like worldwide, it is a bit more developed. There are systems for rewarding those entrepreneurs or financing them. So I think that's something that we still need to develop in Baltic states.
True. Going through different kind of phases and jobs and promotions and more promotions and even more promotions. Like, how did you manage to keep on top of your game? Okay, I understand, like after some period of time, you said, like working 2 years straight, almost 20 hours a day was a little bit too crazy, but you did have to manage that somehow. Like, have you had any productivity hacks left or something that you have realized just now that actually helps you be more productive that you could share with with myself and our listeners?
Well, there's one thing with development of technologies. I think that we are getting much more of these time hackers or attention hackers. So what I actually do, I turn off all my notifications. I have silenced most of WhatsApp groups. Otherwise, I would go crazy. And I actually tend, if I really need to concentrate, I turn off do not disturb mode. And I take, for example, 2 hours just for this one specific tasks. And I focus completely, 100% focus is my method, and do jobs in pieces, one job at a time. That's the best what I can advise. And the rest is just structure planning.
Do you have some, sort of ritual to get into that focus mode? Like, for example, you come from eating your breakfast, like sending your kids off to kindergarten or school. And then, like you're still kind of hectic from everything that happened in the morning. And then you have like, okay, I have my 2 hours now. And like, what is the thing that switches the on switch for you to on to focus? Like, what is that thing?
Actually, when I really need to get into flow and focus, I actually do meditation. Every morning I do 5 minutes meditation where I kind of focus for the day, for energy of the day. I do meditate, and then I'm able to much quicker go into focusing on my work and immediately starting to produce results.
Okay, cool. Actually, that is one of the most popular answers, to be honest, that we've had. And I'm glad that you are another one who says that, as it is now becoming a little bit more popular, like becoming aware of your emotions and everything that is happening around, and then working through everything to actually get into that focus state. So I'm really happy that you are also another one who can say that that you are doing that. What was another thing that I'm curious about usually is like you've had a like really productive day or even hell of a week with so much going on. Like, you have some routines for getting you to focus. And then what is the thing that you do to rewind, actually, to sit back and relax in the evening, or actually to switch off your mind so that you could relax and have some proper sleep? Like, do you have any end of the day routines or before going to sleep routines or something that you can share?
Actually, I'm also meditating in evenings. And at the moment, I'm a bit, with all the change, I think I've gone out of my rhythm. But especially when the times are tough, I meditate a lot. And there has been times in my life when I really feel that the life is collapsing and everything is just going like nowhere, and everything is totally bad. And then I meditate just even more. In worst times, I have been meditating 2 hours per day, and or 3 hours even. And the worse the times, the more I meditate. The better the times, and I can survive is 15 minutes maybe. And the second thing, what is necessary for me is proximity to nature to refine. I'm also a passionate hiker. So whenever I have a possibility, weekends, vacations, evenings, I just put my hiking shoes on and disappear into forests.
Oh, so you have probably scouted some of the Prague's best ones by now.
Actually, I'm super lucky because I live next to forest. I live next to mountains.
So it might happen that one Friday evening your kids are saying like, "Bye, mom," and then you only meet her on the Monday morning, right?
Yeah, in fact, I'm soon going to Nepal for 3 weeks to hike Annapurna.
We will definitely add you back on the show to ask how did that go, because that definitely sounds like a fabulous trip.
And another thing, actually, what I do for the brave ones, I also take to forest my coachees. So because I have one of the products which is forest coaching. So people who are brave enough, I put them also into forest.
I've heard of something called adventure, not adventure hacking, but adventure therapy or something like this. So basically, you also are guided by a, let's say, professional who is bringing you into, like the wildest places, also nature, and then, like kind of how people can work through different kind of issues because like everything, all of our reactions and emotions that we are experiencing, either you have to climb over a hard hill or squeeze through some forest trees or something because there is no other way. And these emotions that it's triggering is actually something that comes from the subconscious mind and actually is telling you something a little bit more deeper than just, oh crap, this you know uh wood has fallen in front of me, right? So, that sounds like fun for sure.
Yeah, it's very effective, and yeah.
So yeah, I was just curious. Have you done it with a lot of people already?
Oh, there's been quite a few with whom I have been doing it, and actually, all of them were really excited and happy. And I particularly liked how one also woman manager described it. She was saying that for her, when you have like coaching, like we are sitting now against each other, that it's very intense. But when you go to nature and when you do those exercises and you kind of talk to nature objects, it feels like much milder, but more effective even form. It's kind of could be compared that you go to gym to exercise with the machines, or you go to, let's say, water aerobics. It feels easier, but in fact it's harder and it's more effective. So that was quite the nicest comparison what I have been getting so far.
Oh, that's cool. It's like getting yourself a buddy in the forest or something.
Yes and no, because I try to leave a lot of, I try to give tasks and leave people alone, actually, because the best result comes when you are actually by yourself with your own emotions, exploring your inner self. And I actually started myself doing that already many years ago. Like it would be some 10, 13 years ago. I started this going into forest, meditating into forest, trying to find my answers. That's also how I have battled my fears. I've been even spending a night in the forest just by myself, just to overcome my fears.
Oh, that is the challenge to the danger in the face right there.
But what is the danger? There's no danger. There's no bears coming to eat you.
Okay, yeah, that's probably coming from some crazy, American movies or something, when all the time when somebody's out camping somewhere, there's some bear sneaking around, so.
Or serial killer.
Or a rat, yeah, sure.
That's actually true.
I've had so much fun talking to you. And one of the last things that I want to ask you is for our lady listeners. Of course, guys, no offense to you as well. We're happy that you're listening. But what will be the most unfiltered advice that you could give to the younger generation? Like we are talking about, ladies coming out of high school or university graduates that are just about to embark on their journey professionally and career-wise. Like, what would be your advice that you could give to them right now, today?
If I might a little bit twist it, because I feel that actually Gen Z, or people who are much younger than us, coming out of school, they somehow have more self-confidence. But what I would like to give advice to all women, and especially those who are maybe over 30 or so, who do the same as me, try to save the world all the time and try to save bad customers, bad businesses, bad projects, and save the world in general. I want to give advice, just be a little bit more selfish. Save yourself and try to be happy yourself. There's even research telling that if you are happy, your friends are 15 to 25% happier. Your friends' friends are 10% happier. So meaning that if you want to save the world, just make sure that you are happy. That's my advice.
That's amazing.
Exactly. Save yourself.
Yeah, it's like I've been telling this around quite a lot of times as well, and people usually look at me like weird, and they have this weird. I can't even name it. What kind of a syndrome it is? It's like they always want to save somebody else, and it's like if I'm not gonna do it, who else is going to? And then like this person comes out completely drained at home and like, "Ugh, I can't do anything anymore." And this is basically the basic rule that we have up at the airplanes, right? So the first emergency rule is put the mask for oxygen on yourself first and then help the others, right? So basically that's the same thing. Oxygenate yourself with emotions, happiness, different kind of, treatments, whatever you want and need. And then the person is going to have so much more to give to the other ones. So yeah. On this positive note, I would wrap up our conversation today. So thank you, Liga, so much for a wonderful story and so many learning lessons yet again.
Totally agree.
Yeah, thank you for being with us here today.
Thank you, Aya. Thank you. Bye-bye. See you.
And as always, don't forget to subscribe to our social media channels on the Instagram and LinkedIn. As always, we want to thank you, Workland, for supporting us since day one. Stay tuned for another amazing episode coming in the next few weeks. Bye, everybody.
What a journey we've explored today with Liga Busa-Lehtonena. From scaling corporate heights to crafting a life of intentional balance and impact, Liga's story is a testament to the power of persistence, reinvention, and knowing your own worth. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to Baltic Boss Babes. We release new episodes every 2 weeks. You can also follow us on Instagram and LinkedIn to stay connected and never miss an update. Thank you for tuning in. And we'll see you next time on Baltic Boss Babes.